Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to read you the story of Eisirt from this lovely little book, Irish Legends, Pocket Irish Legends actually. Here is a picture from the book, and on the next page there's another picture from the story. I'm going to get started. I really hope you enjoy it. Eisirt. During a feast, the king of the little people was boasting about his great strength and about how he was the greatest warrior alive, when he noticed the expression on the face of his poet, Eisirt. "Why are you looking at me like that?" demanded the king. "Don't you believe that I'm the greatest warrior living today?" "You're certainly the bravest warrior in our land," said Eisirt. "But beyond the hills there are men so tall that just one of them on his own could defeat our army and kill all our people." The king was furious and gave Eisirt 5 days and 5 nights to prove that these giants really existed. Eisirt knew he had a problem. If he didn't return with the proof, the king would probably have him killed. On the other hand, if he succeeded in finding the giants, they would very likely save the king the trouble by killing him themselves. He set out to find the evidence he needed. After 2 days and 2 nights on the road, he reached the palace of King Fergus of Ulster. A feast was being held in honour of the king in the Great Hall. Terrified, Eisirt walked up to the guard and demanded to be let in. The guard laughed at the tiny man, but then he opened the door and let him in. All the guests rushed over to see Eisirt. "Stay away from me, you great monsters," he roared, but all the people heard was a little squeak, like that of a mouse. Eisirt saw a dwarf. This was Con, Fergus's chief poet, and said, "I will speak to this small giant." Con reached down, lifted Eisirt and placed him on the table in front of the king. "Who are you, little man, and where do you come from?" asked the king. "I'm Eisirt, chief poet and wise man of my people," said Eisirt proudly. "You are very welcome here," said Fergus. "You must join us for a feast, and after you've eaten you must sing for us and tell us about your home." The king called for a seat for Eisirt and ordered food and drink for him. This was easier said than done. Where would they find a small seat enough for the little man? And from what could he possibly drink? All the goblets were far too big. The queen came up with a solution, giving Eisirt her golden thimble to drink from and her brooch to sit on. "Sit and enjoy yourself, poet," said the king. "You have come a long way and you must be very hungry and thirsty." "I will not drink your wine or eat your food," shouted Eisirt. There was a silence in the great hall, and all the courtiers held their breath, for nobody had ever spoken to the king in this way. Suddenly the king laughed. "Oh dear," he said, "why are you angry with me? If I'm not careful, you might challenge me to a duel, and what chance would I have against bravery such as yours? I will put you in my goblet, and then you will have to drink." With that, the king lifted Eisirt and dropped him into a goblet of wine. The little man tried to swim, but he soon became tired and knew that he would drown if no one rescued him. "King Fergus of Ulster," he cried, "you are doing a foolish thing. If I drown, you will never hear about my wonderful home, or where it is." Save him," everyone cried, for they loved a good story and they felt sure that the little man had an interesting one to tell. Fergus took him out and dried him off. "Why did you insult us by refusing our kind hospitality?" he asked. "If I told you," said Eisirt, "you would be very angry with me, and I don't think that people who make you angry live very long." "I give you my word that I will listen to what you say and that you will not be harmed," answered the king. "Well," said Eisirt, "I cannot stand injustice, and I know you are unjust to your chief steward. I cannot eat or drink here while this is happening." There was silence once again in the hall. This was treason. No one spoke to the king like this and got away with it. Then the king spoke. "You're a strange little man with strange powers indeed. I do not know how you understand these things, for you have only just arrived in our land. It is true, I have been unfair to my chief steward, but I will put things right immediately." "Sir," replied Eisirt, "there is nothing worse than an unjust king, but there is nothing better than a king who admits he is unjust and promises to change. Now I will join your feast." Eisirt sat down on the brooch again, lifted the thimble and drank the wine. The courtiers listened long into the night as he told them wonderful stories about his people and about the land from where he had come from, and why. The next morning the Queen gave Eisirt her thimble so that he could prove to his countrymen that tall men really did exist. Eisirt put it in a bag so that he could carry it on his back, and he travelled home again, arriving just before the 5 days and 5 nights were up. When he showed his ruler the thimble, the king knew that Eisirt had been speaking the truth, and he marvelled that there were people with fingers so big that they would need such a large thimble. The king pardoned Eisirt, although he was now a little worried to have discovered that his kingdom was so close to a kingdom of giants. The end.